and I got to meet Nelson Mandela. And the first thing he said to me was, because I was about to introduce myself to him, and
You met Nelson.
Yeah, of course,
Mandela.
yeah.
Hello and welcome to The Balcony. My name is Jula, and today I have a special guest here who goes by the name of
Vincent. mnisi. Don't know what happened. I just picked up a piece of paper and a writing pad and a pen and started writing for 3 days non-stop. I just couldn't stop writing, and I was writing about the evilness of the European and how they
what you went through.
Yeah, well, I just all of a sudden it just dawned on me how they'd been able to take over Africa, and I realized that they'd actually utilized witchcraft and all that kind of thing to actually manipulate a lot of African minds and send them into a delusional state of certain beliefs. The whole thing was it was a cultural invasion.
Okay.
So psychological invasion, so that in a way de-inheritage the peoples so that they can adopt a different way of life and psychic, which is not our way of life. Because now the way Africans now, the way of Christianity, they believe in a God which is outside, not believing in the God within. Because every person is born with some godliness within. So basically, that's how we humans should be focusing on. Instead of waiting for a God to aid you, you are your own God. You are able to aid yourself to obtain your destiny, because you have it all within you. So that's the whole point. If you overstand yourself, not understand, overstand yourself.
Speaking of which, you have a book about it?
Yeah, precisely. Yeah.
So he's got, is this one of them?
Well, as I said, this is my 8th one. This is my best book, which is, I think it's African, I call it...
Where can they find it? Amazon?
On Amazon,
He's got quite a few books on Amazon as well, if you want to order and just, check it out.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as I say, I wrote this manuscript, and I wish I'd kept it. But
you lost it.
I lost it, and I feel as if it's been filtering in my books.
Yeah.
All my books in the past.
How long did you stay in the cell for, in the prison?
I think a week.
Just 1 week?
No. In the prison, I think 2 nights. And then they moved me to the hospital, the psychiatric whatever.
Okay. Did you stay too long in that?
I stayed for a week and a half.
Oh, okay.
I think almost 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I was away from my college, because I was attending college then.
You're lucky you had your mom there.
Yeah.
To come down and say, look.
Yeah. Otherwise, I could have been. We wouldn't have met.
Yes, I wouldn't be sat here talking to
me. Yeah, I wouldn't have accomplished all my books. I wouldn't have been in England.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you kept on writing books. And
well, as I said, I only wrote that time, and then I moved back to Johannesburg after I finished my college. And started looking for work, and I got myself a job in what the company called Huntless Garris, TBWA, AMC, which is Applied Marketing and Communications. I was working on the ANC's advertising. I got myself a job through the ANC because I got my uncle to write a letter to the job to say, because I'd finished. They'd sponsored me in advertising, so I wanted to handle their advertising account. So so it was natural. So got there, got myself a job, and it was an incredible way of getting in, but it was hard though to get in.
You can imagine.
What happened was they didn't reply me for 2 months, so I decided. So I took it upon myself.
Yeah.
Cut my dreadlocks. Remember, I had long dreadlocks. So I cut my dreadlocks. I phoned them actually, and I said, "What's taking so long?"
Yeah.
So they were like, "We're not even considering you." I said, "What?" So I was like,
you were confident, you were ready to go and just start.
So I was like, what? I really got pissed off, and I slammed the phone down and said, I threatened them. I said, look here, I'm going to take you to the newspapers because you're handling the ANC, which is a multi-million-dollar account to you guys, and the ANC sponsored me in advertising, and they've sent you a letter for you to employ me. I'm going to take you to the newspapers. It's a racial thing, and I put the phone down, and I just didn't even make an appointment with them.
Yeah,
I just didn't.
They called you.
No, I didn't even, because then we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have any. So what I did is cut my dreadlocks. The next day, went to the office.
Yes.
Got there, sat there in the reception. Within, I think, 3-4 hours, they were busy, they were like, whatever, communicating within themselves. And then within 2-3 hours, I was signing a letter of appointment. Didn't even speak to anybody. All of a sudden, I was like, I'll come visit them.
Yeah.
And then sign a letter of appointment. I don't even understand. I really don't understand. All I did was went there and I sat in there and said, can I speak to the managing director? And then eventually they were like, oh, can we Vincent? They were like, oh.
They knew you.
They started getting hectic with me. And then that same day, one of the directors resigned. Same day.
Yes.
He resigned that day. So it was what's his name, Ken mnisi. I actually got to meet him later on, and he helped me out later in my career. It was great. And he resigned on that day, and then within 3-4 hours of signing a letter of appointment for 6,000 something rands and a month, and I took that letter to get some what do you call them, clothes on credit. So I set up my wardrobe again for the office now. Presentable, yeah. It was nice, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I started handling the ANC's advertising. And I got to meet Nelson Mandela. And the first thing he said to me was, because I was about to introduce myself to him. And
you met Nelson.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And I told myself at the age of 15 that I was going to meet him. And I meet him 10 years later. So I was like, the first thing he said to me was, so you are Vincent mnisi? And I'm like, what? He knows my name.
He knew you?
Yeah. He was like, wow.
Wow. Yeah.
So all I just said was, yes, sir. And he goes, you're doing good work for us. I'm like, thank you, sir, because he must have been told
the
that.
Acknowledgement, that's amazing.
Like, thank you, sir. I was like, wow, he knows my name. I was like saying to myself, oh, he knows my name. So I've always been telling people about this whole incident of how I met Nelson Mandela. It was incredible. I ended up working with him, doing his recordings for the ANC's advertising campaign for the local government elections and all those kind of things, and also handled his birthday parties in 1995. We threw a party for his...
With Nelson Mandela?
Yeah. We threw a birthday party for street children.
Yes.
At Disney park center where we gathered street children, and then he came and presented some gifts to them. It was quite nice, yeah. And it was something that I did. Yeah, I enjoyed working with him, and I mean, he was for me my hero, because I lived in exile all my life, and then with him getting out of exile, I was able to go back home in South Africa. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it was just great, meeting him. It was incredible. Yeah.
How long did you work with him for?
I worked for about 2 years.
2 years?
2 years, yeah. From 1995, 96, 97. 97, I left South Africa. I left the party because I left the whole advertising agency because me and the Children's Fund got into a conflict because I asked them because we raised so much money for the Children's Fund and asked them to set up orphanages, and then they turned around and told me we're a charity, we only use 10% of what we would take in now. So I was like, wow. So I really got upset with the Nelson Mandela. Not him personally, it was the Children's Fund, the people that are managing it. So it was for me, I felt they weren't living up to what they were meant to have done with that money, the Children's Fund. I went and I joined a company called J. Walter Thompson in Cape Town because my ex-wife was pregnant then with my first child in 1997. So we moved back to Cape Town because I studied there. Moved back to Cape Town. I got a job at a company called J. Walter Thompson and AWSG, which is Anderson Once Struble Goran.
Okay.
And they were handling their Nike advertising, so they asked me to join them and so they can handle their Nike advertising. I was there from 97 all the way up to 2000. Then Nike decided to, because they were based in Johannesburg, so, and I was tired of flying up and down.
Yes.
And I had a child there, and it was I think, a year old, 2 years old, like 97, 98. So I was like, I was up and down, and I couldn't.
Yes.
So
makes sense.
So eventually, I joined a radio station called P4 Radio. I was the strategic sales manager. I would manage the sales team, so I would write strategic documents for them to go and sell to people who were aiming on trying to sell like radio airspace, like adverts on the radio. So I would write strategic documents for them to pitch to clients.
Sure.
So I was there from 2000 all the way up to 2001. That's when my marriage broke up with my ex. I actually just left the job, and then eventually, due to me not being employed, we broke up, and I moved back to Johannesburg. I left.
Oh, she left her because you're not employed?
Yeah. Well,
were you guys married?
We were married, yeah.
You were married?
Yeah, we were married, yeah. That happens. Happens to the best of us. But anyway, so 2000, I moved back to Johannesburg. I get a job at MTN, which was the mobile telephone network in South Africa.
Yeah.
I was an executive to the marketing director, so I was like helping her out, and I joined them, and then I was headhunted. When I was working for them, I think I was earning 20 something. Okay, so I was offered, when I was working at MTN, I was offered a position to go back into advertising, because I'd gone into the marketing side, where I became the executive, where I was marketing the stuff and working with an advertising agency. So I was offered to come back on the agency side, and they doubled my salary. But I was going to handle the MTN, the company I was working for. So I was being offered by a company that was handling their business. So they said, can you come join us and you can handle their business? So I went and joined them, and they doubled my salary. I started getting 36,000. And it wasn't the most I've ever got.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was.
18K to
yeah.
Who wouldn't take that? Come on.
Yeah, totally. So it was incredible. So I was there. Sadly, after 3 months, I got a stroke. It was sad. I couldn't remember anything, and the people at work decided that I should take a sabbatical for 3 months. So they paid me off. They paid me, I think, 120,000 just to take a break.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. So my mom.
How old were you when you got
the stroke? I was 27 years old. So, so I just decided to, because my mom had taken my daughter at the age of 1, so she was looking after my daughter. So even when I split up with my ex, my daughter was still with my mom. So I moved back. I actually traveled back to her house. She had a house in Zimbabwe. So I went and chilled out with my daughter for, I think, 2 years. So 2001, I was with my daughter. I kind of like rekindled me, because I spent a lot of time with her. I taught her the ABCs. I think she was studying at school then. It was quite nice for me to spend some time with her, and I taught her a lot. She gave me my life back. I must say I'm grateful to her. And We then my mom organized us to go and meet the then Home Office minister, whose name was John Como. He was an uncle of hers.
Yes.
And he used to say, he used to call her auntie. So I don't know how that, but basically just because she was older than him. Yeah, so
well, we tend to do that a lot.
African culture. Yeah. So we went to go and see him, and then within a week we got our Zimbabwean passports. Even though we were South Africans, my mom is Zimbabwean, so she organized us under her citizenship to get Zimbabwean passports, and then we got our Zimbabwean passports, and then year 2002, we flew to England. Me and my brother. 2002, we came to England.
So you left your daughter?
Yeah, I left my daughter with my mom. So we came 2002. 2002 we came and moved. We came in, claimed asylum, and within a year I got my papers, and within a year my brother also got his papers. So I actually got here in March. I think by June I got my papers, so I was already in the system by June.
So you claimed asylum
as soon as we got in here. So and then from then on, as I say, I got my papers, and 2002 organized everything. I started working in 2002. Started working for. I tried to get back into advertising since I had my experience in advertising, but I never got any replies from anybody. So I even tried to apply to the affiliates to the agencies that I used to work for, because most of them were international advertising agencies, and no reply from them. So I had to get back into some kind of job, and I got into hardcore labor jobs, and working in factories, working in as a packer, a pick and packer.
So how was that like? Because you were doing well for yourself.
I know. And then all of a sudden the whole.
You're abroad now.
Abroad. Yeah. It became for me. I just had to live with it. Eventually, I realized that I couldn't get back to where I was, and if I wanted to survive, I've had to take any job that was offered to me. So this I worked, especially here in the Northeast. I worked from Nissan to TRW to. I've worked all over. I mean, even the Peterbird factory in Peterlee. I worked for these Walker's Clips. I've worked for Tackle. I've worked all over.
I think it's quite sad when like you've actually done well in your country, and you kind of like got your education sorted.
True.
You started to work for
and
now you kind of just moved to a different place.
Country, and then you
can't
get back to where your level of education as well. Totally. It just became something. And then I realized, I realized that I needed to do something, and then I spoke to my mom. Once I was sending her money all the time and sponsoring my daughter from here into school. So basically my mom said to me, Vincent, you never came to England to work. Get yourself an education. So I was like, okay, fine. So 2006 I got myself to get into what's called Manchester Metropolitan University. Manchester Metropolitan University. Yeah, I got accepted there to do my first degree.
Did you go to Manchester?
Manchester. No. I was in Sunderland. Came to Sunderland.
It's true. Okay.
Yeah, we landed in London, and then London we were taken to Sunderland, and then we stayed in Sunderland ever since. So Sunderland is more like our hometown, if you think about it. So 2006, I decided to look for a degree, and I was offered by Manchester Metropolitan University. Moved to Manchester, got myself a car, a Honda Prelude, because when I got to Manchester it was too big, and I just said, I'm not going to be able to get around in this city without a car, so I got myself a car. As soon as the student loans came out, and then I went back to Manchester. It was nice, and I got myself a job at B&Q, worked between B&Q and study and everything. So I had transport. I was there from 2000.
What did you study?
I studied advertising and brand management. The work I had done, you know what I mean? And there was a time.
How did that feel like?
And also I was learning with kids then. I was learning with 18, 19-year-olds, and then basically what happened, an incident that happened, one of the lecturers was coughing. She couldn't express herself, and I lifted up my hand and I said, "Can I help you out?" Because they had known that I'd worked in the industry, so they kind of like, one of the lectures I used to speak to most of the lectures and contribute something. I used to talk to them. So she said, "Okay, come over, Vincent, come and explain," because she was coughing. So I went up and without reading the notes, I spoke from my heart, from my head and from my heart what she was trying to say. And then my own students gave me a standing ovation. Can you imagine that? I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? They all stood up and started clapping. I was like, what? And then afterwards, they were asking me, "Can you help me with that? Can you help me with that?" I did try. I did try and help, but I was also a student. So basically, I helped them, but I was also a student. And from then onwards, I left. I 2009. 2008, 2009. I moved back. I finished my degree in Manchester. Came here to Sunderland, University of Sunderland. Did my top-up business management, but graduated from there. 2010, I started writing. I went on a pilgrimage, kind of like a holy kind of like trying to discover myself. I went on a what do they call it, sabbatical from life. Went to a Christian rehab situation where I took myself from everything that was, the things that like the carnage, everything. I just took myself away from going out, drinking, all the kind of things. I just got myself in order, and I picked up a book called the World History Book. And when I read it, I was like, oh, it was so. It was not selective, just all around everything that happened in the world. So what I did was I started writing down all the parts that happened in Africa only. So I started like subscribing, taking all, and I wrote it down because I had all the time. I was there for over 6 months, 7 months. So I just decided, I got time to do it. So I researched, I wrote all the history that happened in Africa, and then came back to Sunderland, and then I put down Africa Must Unite because it was a history book. So I kind of like, oh, this is beautiful history on Africa, and it's something that Africans should learn. You know what I mean? So I kind of like put my first book. I revised. I called Africa Must Unite. Yeah, I put those, and then I revised it to the United Countries of Africa now, which was 2011. 2010, I put Africa Must Unite together, and then 2011, I revised it to the United Countries of Africa now, because a friend of mine who had read it, a white friend of mine who had read Africa Must Unite, found it, he said it was racist against them. A white friend, a European friend, felt it was racist against them. So I was like, okay, so I kind of like toned it down in the United Countries of Africa now. And then I wrote a book of quotations called Inspire, Aspire for Assertiveness, and I got some feedback from that, from some guy on Facebook. He said that book helped him get out of depression. So I was like, wow, that's why I wrote. It was nice when I got that feedback from that guy. And from then on, as I wrote a book called The Adventures of an African Dealer, which is there.
Yeah, there's quite a few. Of them,
yeah. That was my that was my first and only fictional storyline. The Adventures of an African Dealer. I wrote this. This was my fourth book. Yeah, that was and then I wrote a book called My African Black Book, which is my fifth book. And then I wrote a book called Life, which is a Christian semi-book. semi-Christian self-belief book I wrote, and that was my 6th, and then my 7th became what's my 7th? My African Black book, right?
Amazing, you've got quite a lot.
Yeah.
You've still got it, right?
Yeah. Still writing more. Yeah. My African Black book was my 7th, and then my 6th. My 7th was the African Spiritual Bible. Right.
Don't worry, we can find that. Just go on Amazon and just look them up.
Yeah. And then my.
Or just type his name and Google it. You'll find
okay.
those books there.
Yeah. My 8th was 8 Systems.
Okay.
And then my 9th was Abundance now. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I'm busy writing, which is this is my 9th one, Abundance now.
What's that? What inspired you? What's that about?
Well, 8 Systems was a research book, which is about everything that happens in life. So it's more, as you can see, the eye. It is the all-seeing eye. So basically, there's a lot of research to say, look at eyes, so I know what's happening in life, so I know who's in charge of what. So
look out
and start looking through things. Don't. And so this one is all about religion, social systems, everything that's happening in life. Abundance now looks at the capital in the world, capitalistic systems of the world, and why we're living in such this social conundrum instead of living in a different conundrum where all resources are shared amongst humans instead of having people say gold is mine, the diamond is mine.
Everything's mine.
And also having this situation where predominantly all the wealth is controlled by a handful of companies. You know what I mean? It's just companies that are actually are the wealth of the
There's this thing where it's like the rich gets richer.
Yeah, true.
So
and the poor and that's a true fact because
abundance is there for everyone. We all have
precisely which is abundance. Now everybody should be living in abundance life. To say this.
Okay. So you've got that, and then the Inspired, which is this one here.
Yeah, Inspired, which is the
What made you write about it?
I felt like I needed it's something I enjoyed reading. See, these are inspirational quotes that help me get through my life. So I felt as if I needed to make sure people understand that whatever they may be going through, it's not going to last forever. Even in the good times and the bad times, all short-lived. And you must understand that it's just we live in a cycle, and you go through good times and bad times, and then you go through. So you must just learn how to live through them. How to manage them. Move on, and don't take anything too hard.
Yeah,
that's what.
I think it's also okay to take your time.
Yeah, true.
You don't have to rush yourself. Just sit and in time it will just
and I got some feedback on this from a Facebook friend, and he told me it helped me get out of depression. So I was like, wow. I felt good about that feedback was like.
I actually do have some like the app I use on your phone. Every morning I wake up. It's like quotes.
Okay, quotations.
I just read them, and then it kind of helps you with your mindset.
Your mindset, precisely. It sets your mind become more instead of thinking on down stuff, you're thinking on upper stuff. And as I say, this was my 7th book, the African Spiritual Bible. I encompassed the Book of Enoch, some of the Red Sea Scrolls, and the book, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, and the Corbin Bible. Egyptian Book of the Dead. So, and these books have got a similar manner of scripture. They actually are going out and stating that God lives within you. All 3 books say God lives within you, so there's no need to go out and pay money to a God to come and bless you, because all the opportunities are within you. Tithes and offering, and also going to and the whole thing about Christianity is is anticipating a God that passed away to come back and help you, and is claiming that he's always with you, that kind of thing. But the point is, we are all our own gods. We have our own spiritual systems that we adhere to, and the whole thing of now giving our spiritual systems and hoping for an outside entity that is as good as dead, because it's not even there. There isn't any. It is not energy. Yeah.
Do you believe God exists?
Yes, I do believe that God exists. I believe there is. I believe there's a greater force, but I don't believe in the scripture of saying Jesus Christ came down and he went up again, descended, ascended. I believe. I don't believe that he's sitting at the right hand side of the Father and the kind of thing. And then the whole Christian religion of what do you call it? Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Where's the female? Where's the female in the Trinity? You know what I mean? So basically, as far as I'm concerned, I think it's homosexual. In a way, I'm like, where's the female in the Trinity? Do you know what I mean? So
we'll touch that more.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Talk more
on the. Definitely.
So what are you doing at the moment?
I'm busy writing my biography. I'm busy working on my I'm still writing my biography. It's my 10th book. So I'm writing my first 51 years. I'm an old man now. Yeah, waiting on 51. Yeah, I just turned 52. What am I saying? 51. Turned 52.
When did you turn?
52. I turned 52 on the 29th of March. Just passed. Yeah. So yeah.
So all is well now?
Yeah, all is well.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Thank God. Yeah? Yeah. Anything else you want to share? We covered everything.
No, well, as I say, I did some music. Some music that I did. Yeah, I did. I actually cut down. I did a speech from Inspire, Aspire, Self-Happiness. I wrote down some of the quotations and I put them in such a way. Okay. I recorded them. I think I read about 37 minutes worth, and then I broke them down into 5-minute tracks, 7-minute tracks actually, and then sent them out. Music, put some music, some reggae beat on it. A friend of mine from Birmingham put some music behind it, and it's quite nice. Yeah. I'm planning on probably one day release an album.
You think?
No. Well, I sing along, but
you sing along?
I'm a good singer along.
Good. That's amazing. It's been nice to talk to you.
Thanks a lot for inviting me.
No problem. Right. Thank you so much for being here. It's been nice having you as well. If you've been inspired or if you've actually learned something, I think could be nice. You can comment them down below as well. Let us know what you felt or how you actually found this story. I think I personally have learned some things. And the books, I haven't read them to be honest, but I'll have a look at them as well. But yeah, it's been really nice hearing his story. And this kind of teaches you that we all come from somewhere. We all have different difficulties and struggles and things that we go through in life. But what makes us human, what makes us for example, where you are right now, it's what you've been through. Precisely. It's a process. Yeah. So I appreciate that. So I'm here to appreciate your story. If you have a story to share as well, it doesn't have to be interesting. It doesn't have to be, anything dramatic. It could just be anything you want to share as well. If it's inspiring or teaching someone or just to create awareness, I would appreciate it if you could just I'll leave my email address in the description as well as in the video down below. Just be sure to get in touch and share your story. It's been nice having you, and take care.
Basically, what I saw in that cell was one incredible thing I've never seen before. Saw a man made of light, his complexion.
From the age, let me just stop you there. From the age of 6, he went to a boarding school.